Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Sujata Shirsagar and I'm Bangalore alumna and an MBA mentor. Today we're going to talk about something that is an absolute game changer in your MBA journey. And what's that? That's your personal branding. So now you might be thinking, personal branding, isn't that something for influencers or celebrities? Not at all. Your personal brand is the story you tell about yourself. And for MBA aspirants like you, this is what sets you apart in the admission process. So it's not just about your CAT scores or what you've done early on in your life with your academics. Personal branding makes that last mile difference in your admission process, and it also makes a big difference in your networking, in your other opportunities in life, eventually your career and your life as a whole. So let me take you back to my own MBA admissions journey. And I was once in your shoes, crafting my applications, wondering how to stand out in that sea of absolutely brilliant candidates. And I realized beyond test scores and work experience, what made me unique was my story. Now, I had navigated challenges. So, this was my story, how I had navigated those challenges, the values I stood for, and the impact I wanted to create. That's what we're going to work on today, helping you tell your story in a way that is compelling, authentic, and memorable. So let's look at what we will cover. Before we dive in, here's what we're going to cover today. We'll start with why personal branding and profile building matter, especially for MBA admissions. Then we'll work on crafting your personal story, making sure it's compelling and unique to you. We'll discuss how to build a powerful profile, including LinkedIn. And yes, you heard me right. LinkedIn is your social profile in more ways than one, and also the resume or the SOP strategies. I'll also walk you through the key do's and don'ts of personal branding, how to leverage social media effectively, and finally, we'll create a strong personal brand statement that you can use in your applications for B schools and later on for your job interviews as well. So by the end of this session, you not only understand how to present yourself, but also to have actionable steps to start building your personal brand today. So let's look at why personal branding and profile building matter. And this is something you know, I'm sure, but 85% of hiring managers, and of course, people who are going to interview you to hire you into the B school as students, they say that strong personal brand impacts career opportunities, and for MBA admissions, like I said, the same things matter because B schools are not just looking at test scores. They want well-rounded individuals with a unique story. So leaders who will contribute to their cohort and make an impact. So remember, B schools, when they are getting you in, are also worried about their reputation. So you're in a way their brand of the future. So when they bring you in, they want you to have that unique brand. So think of some of the, most successful MBA graduates, whether it's Indra Nui, Sheryl Sandberg, or even someone in your own network who got into a top B school. What do they have in common? And I'm sure when you go through this in your own time and space, you will realize they have a clear personal brand. They stood out not only because of their experience or their early academic acumen, but because of how they positioned themselves. Let's get on to crafting your personal story. See, we now understand why personal branding is so important, not just for MBA admissions, but for your long-term career success. The next big question we come to is, how do you do it? You're going to ask me, hey, Sujata, please tell me, how do I do it? It's all good that it has to be done. So it all starts with your story, your experiences, your challenges, your achievement. These are what shape who you are, and your personal branding is all about these things. So you have to have a way of telling the story which will make a difference. And let's dive into how do you craft this compelling personal narrative, which starts with self-reflection. So the first point in crafting your story is self-reflection, which will define your unique brand. So let's look at how to do it. And I would insist you grab a notebook or your phone and jot down these three things. First is the three strengths that defined you. Second is a unique experience that shape your perspective. We will then want to link this with how does MBA come into this entire picture. So why do you want to do this? And how does it all connect to your long-term vision? And in the end, you have to do the storytelling with impact and then showcase leadership, resilience, growth, all these aspects that have happened in your life. Here, I would like to tell you a short, small story. I once mentored this young woman who went through her non-traditional background in psychology, and she thought this is going to be a disadvantage in B-school applications. Yeah, today we all know that if you're from a psychology background or you're from a Hatke background, it brings in diversity to the cohort. But what I'm telling you was some long time back. And those days, the hiring criteria or the gating in criteria to B school was not so transparent. So this young lady thinks that's going to be a disadvantage, but instead of hiding it or couching behind it, we just reframed it. She positioned herself as someone who understood consumer behavior deeply, a skill which is highly valuable in marketing and strategy. Today, of course, she's at a top global consulting firm. So in a nutshell, your background, your struggles, your journey, everything has a place in your brand. The key is how do you tell it? How do you tell your story? And simply put, there are three C's of storytelling, which is crafting your personal story starts with being clear, consistent, and confident. So when we are telling your story or you're telling your story, be clear. What does clarity mean? Define who you are and what you stand for. Second, be consistent. Ensure your story aligns across your SOP or resume, LinkedIn, essays, and what you finally tell in the interview. And the third is confidence. Own your journey with conviction. Doesn't matter what you've gone through, what you've done, where you've been. It is your journey. Own it with conviction. Present it with positivity. And when you have conviction of what you've gone through, you will do that naturally. And here, I would like to leave you with, out of all these three C's, the power of consistency. So, for example, imagine you positioned yourself. Today, ESG, sustainability is in vogue. So let me talk about it. And say you've positioned yourself as someone passionate about sustainability and ESG. Now, if you've set this in your MBA applications, your essays talk about your experience leading a sustainability project, and your resume or SOPs highlighting initiatives that reduced your company's carbon footprint. And you walk into this MBA interview and the panel asks you, hey, what are your long-term career goals? If you now suddenly say you want to transition into investment banking without any connection to sustainability, it raises a red flag immediately. And this is where consistency matters. Your story, this entire thing about SDG, ESG, sustainability should align across your essays/SOPs, resume, LinkedIn, and the interview response. So if sustainability is your theme, your answer could be, and I would like to say it here, so you're not wondering what I'm saying or trying to say. What could your answer be? I aspire to work at the intersection of finance and sustainability, because you want to do finance, you want to do sustainability, and you can add on to say helping companies integrate ESG principles into their investment strategy. So you can say what you wish to do very beautifully, combining these two, and give a little bit about your past experience by saying, my experience leading a carbon reduction initiative in my firm reinforced my belief that businesses can be both profitable and sustainable. And now linking it to MBA, you can add on further saying an MBA will equip me with the financial expertise and leadership skills to drive this impact at scale. Do you see the difference? A consistent narrative, and it makes you memorable and credible. They will remember you for what you said. Yeah. Now, while all this is storytelling, how do you go about building that profile? Okay. So There are 3-4 pillars to this that I have put out. Of course, there could be more. You can do your own search. The web is full of information. How do you make the world see? How do you make sure the world sees it? First is resume or SOP and LinkedIn optimization. So use action-driven language, highlight key achievement, engage in thought leadership, post articles, share insights, and build a professional digital footprint. And second is a networking strategy. Connect with alumni, um, you know, uh, connect with alumni, mentors, industry professional, all this you can do. Let me just come back a little bit to online presence. Through your online opportunities, you have to engage in thought leadership, post articles, share insights, and ensure that you're liking other people's stuff. And this is how you can build a digital footprint. Last but not the least, photography. You know, we often undermine the power of a photograph. How do you put yourself out there? Now, you don't have to do a modeling kind of photo, but a high quality headshot enhances credibility. And I remember a candidate, I'll give you all these stories, who was incredibly smart, but had a LinkedIn profile that looked half complete or almost not there with no picture. Now, she changed that, started sharing her insights, and within months, recruiters began reaching out to her. So your online presence is your digital handshake. So make it count. I gave you a story of a girl who changed her profile and got recruited. Yes, I've done many mentorship sessions for people who have hit their midlife career crisis. So that was a story from that book. But if you're aiming for an Indian B school and you're wondering, hey, Sujata, do Indian B schools even check LinkedIn, unlike global MBA programs? So, well, Indian B schools don't explicitly ask for your LinkedIn profile in an application, but that doesn't mean LinkedIn isn't valuable. It plays a very crucial indirect role in strengthening your MBA profile. And let us see how does that happen. So LinkedIn is a personal branding tool. Your MBA application is limited by word count, essays, and SOP can only tell so much. But LinkedIn gives you an open platform to showcase your achievements, projects, and leadership beyond what fits into your application. So think of it as a living document, a living storyteller of who you are, as a dynamic professional portfolio that supports everything you've written in your application. Second thing LinkedIn does is networking with alumni and MBA community. So one of the best ways to prepare for MBA admission, especially for Indian B schools, is by talking to alumni that are current students. And LinkedIn helps you find and connect with them. You can ask them about their experiences, seek mentorship, and even get insights into interview questions. So I do remember a student I mentored connected with an IIM alum on LinkedIn. Many connect with me and had great conversation and got very valuable tips that help her ace his VAT PI round. Third, it enhances your credibility with recruiters. So while see, you're getting into a B school now, someday soon you're going to get into the job market, whenever that is. So sooner you start on that path, the better. So while Indian B schools may not check your LinkedIn, recruiters from top consulting firms, banks, and startups do. So many campus placements today start with recruiters scanning LinkedIn profile before they shortlist resumes. So well-optimized LinkedIn profile ensures that when recruiters look you up, they find a very professional and compelling story about you. There are a couple of more things why you should do LinkedIn and how you should use it. So B schools love candidates who take initiative. Posting about industry trends, case studies, or personal projects on LinkedIn builds your credibility. You can, in fact, open your LinkedIn account and show it at the interview if time permits and opportunity is given to you, or seize that moment and show them your LinkedIn profile. It will help. The last but not the least is preparing for interviews with industry insights. So your LinkedIn feed is a goldmine of industry trends, company updates, and business case discussions. So all of these can be a feed or useful for your MBA interviews. Following B schools, faculty members, industry leaders will all keep you updated and helps you frame well-informed responses. We all struggle, right? Current affairs. How do I keep in touch with what's happening? You hop onto LinkedIn, a lot of it will happen naturally. So in a nutshell, Even if an MBA applications don't directly ask for LinkedIn, think of it as your extended application, your personal brand that adds credibility, expands your network, and opens doors for post-MBA opportunities. So if you're not leveraging it yet, now is the time to get started. Let's quickly look at do's and don'ts of personal branding. And I will just sum it up as saying in the do's, define your USP, showcase leadership, engage in thought leadership. And in don'ts, very simply, do not over exaggerate. Do not ignore your online presence and do not be passive in networking. So in a nutshell, all that I said, do not, you have to do the opposite of it. So even here, I have a story. I know someone who kept writing generic statements like, I'm hardworking, I'm passionate. And that's very forgettable. Who wants to know you're hardworking and passionate? If you have to make yourself memorable and people should remember you, highlight real experiences. So say something like, I led a team of 5 to launch a CSR project that impacted 1,000 students. That's a story worth remembering. Yeah. And I'm going to now take you on to how do you leverage social media for brand building? And I've written it out there. I'm not talking about Insta or YouTube yet at this stage. I'm telling you that LinkedIn is your social media for professional branding. So if you think professional media is an word, get on to LinkedIn. It's your social media for the professional world. And what can you do? You have to do a set of things. So you optimize your LinkedIn profile. And those of you ladies and men who are listening to this, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you're already late, buddy. Please go get on to that. And what I'm going to tell you here on is going to help you to create that profile. And those of you who have it, it will help you make it better. So first is optimize your LinkedIn profile. What is important? It's your digital handshake. Remember, I told you, so it reflects your brand clearly and professionally. So your headline is more than just a job title or your status title. So if you're working somewhere, instead of a consultant at XYZ company, you have to give those keywords: strategy consultant, data-driven problem solver, MBA aspirant. So your summary should tell your story, who you are, what have you done, and what are you aspiring to achieve with your MBA. Make sure your experience section highlights impact. Now, I know many of you are students. So let me give you let me craft some title or headlines for you. Say you're an economic honors student, passionate about business strategy, market dynamics, blah, blah, blah. You know what you can say? You can say, hey, I'm an economic honors student, passionate about business strategy, market dynamics, and data-driven decision making. I have explored economic policies, industry trends, and problem solving through academic projects and internship. Now, this is what you're telling them who you are, what you have done. And you can also add in your passion saying, I enjoy discussing emerging business trends, writing about economic insights, and connecting with professionals to learn and grow. Till here, your story will attract a lot of attention from the groups that you have referred to here. You can end this with saying, aspiring to pursue an MBA to deepen my expertise in strategy, consulting, and finance. So some of these will help you attract attention in a way, in a manner of speaking, but also connect with the right audience on LinkedIn and enrich yourself. Second is engaging. So you have to comment on posts and share industry insights. So you can't just have a LinkedIn account and be dumb about it. Personal branding is not about what you post. It's also how you engage with others. So comment on posts from B school professors, alum, or industry experts, and thoughtful insights will help you get noticed. Follow LinkedIn groups related to your field, participate in discussions, build relationship. Ladies, this is all about visibility. When you engage regularly, your name appears more often, strengthening your brand. So for example, if an industry leader shares an article on AI and you're very keen in this subject, don't just like it, comment with a perspective or question. You could say something like, hey, great insights. AI is also AI is also transforming supply chain efficiency. How do you see it evolving in the next 5 years? So you've liked it, you've given a positive comment, you've expressed what is happening in your view, and you're also asking the next question. So this engages with that person and with all those who have liked or commented on this person's post. Simple thumb rule. I spoke about consistency earlier. Consistency applies here too. Post once a week. You don't have to be an expert to share. Just document your journey. Talk about your lessons, what you learned from a project, a book you read, an event you attended. So you balance personal and professional growth. Share your MBA journey, challenges and milestone. Keep it authentic. So do not just copy paste from somewhere. Share your unique experiences because that will make you stand apart. Now, one examples of a post, I'm just going to give you examples so that you're able to relate to what I'm saying. You can just say if you're doing a post on lessons from your MBA coaching, you can say, rewriting my MBA SOP for the third time made me realize how powerful storytelling is. Numbers matter, but why matters even more. Yeah. Now, if you're talking about a project, you can say something like, led my first major project at work, managing a team across 3 locations. Yeah. So some of those things you can do and grow your network. Building relationships with professionals and industry leaders is not just for job hunting. It's a part of building your personal brand. So follow and connect with B School alum, industry leaders. Don't just send random connection requests. Yeah. You should send a short note explaining why you'd love to connect. Engage with their content. Congratulate them on their achievements and keep the conversation going. Yeah. Let's now look at how do you create or craft that personal brand statement? What is the formula? You just have to simply answer these questions. Who are you? Which is your background and strengths. What do you do? Your experience and achievement. What are you passionate about? Your vision and impact. Why should B School choose you? Your differentiators. So in creating your personal profile, you answer these 4 questions in a very nice manner. You've created your personal profile. Again, let me give you an example so that you're able to relate to this better. Say you're an economics student interested in policy and research and wanting to do an MBA. How do you connect this, Sujata? You'll be wondering, hey, I'm interested in research. मैं MBA के बारे में क्या बोलूं? You can say something like, I'm an economic honors student with a keen interest in data-driven policy making and economic research. Through my coursework and internships, I have analyzed market trends and policy impacts, sharpening my ability to translate complex data into meaningful insights. What have you said so far? What are you interested in? What have you done? Then you go on to say, I'm passionate about bridging the gap between theory and real world applications. I aspire to pursue an MBA to deepen my understanding of business strategy and economic development. See how beautifully you've woven all these things, yeah? And I can go on giving example. I'll give one more. Say you're the same economic honors student, but with an interest in business and entrepreneurship. How can you say this? I'm an eco honors student with a deep curiosity for market dynamics and business strategy. Having led student initiatives and analyzed economic trends in my coursework, I enjoy applying these economic principles to solve real-world business challenges. My goal is to blend eco background with an MBA to build innovative, data-driven business solutions that can create long-term impact. So you tell me anything, I'll weave it in for you. What should you do? You take all this masala on a plate and weave it into a beautiful story. Now, what I want you to do is take 2 minutes or take 20 minutes after this session and try writing your own personal brand statement. You have to have a brand statement and share it in the comments or DM me on LinkedIn. I would love to help you refine it. So go for it, ladies. And I'm going to move towards the final set of slides or talk for my session today. Nothing is successful if you don't begin to do it. And it's important to always know as a summary what you've learned. And it's even more important to have an action plan. So that's what we're going to do the next couple of minutes. What are the key learnings? If those of you who are lazy don't want to go through the initial thing and want to look at the end story and then come back. So the key learnings from this, I hope you've got is A strong personal brand differentiates you in your MBA admission. Storytelling, authenticity, and consistency are key. And leveraging LinkedIn and network enhances credibility. What should your next steps be? There are 4-5 next steps, but if you do it, it will hold you good, not only for your MBA interviews, but for any other interview, for your job interview later, for anything in life later which requires interaction and you're pitched against so many more competent people. So as next steps, reflect on your strengths and unique qualities. Now this you do it for your MBA interview, any other job interview, and through your life. Even when you join a corporate or running your own business, every stage of going to the next step or orbit change will require you to reflect on your strengths and unique qualities. Second, you optimize your SOP, resume, LinkedIn to align to your brand. Third, engage with industry professionals and B-School alum or any other alum that's your to-be cohort. Fourth, develop and refine your personal brand statement. Fifth, share your insights and achievements and your vision through content. And I have to end by saying your brand is your story, tell it well, and the right opportunities will follow. So you make it clear, your brand story, make it compelling and consistent. MBA programs look beyond just test scores. They want to see your leadership, your resilience, your confidence, and the impact you have created or are capable of creating. So whether in your SOPs or essays or your interview resumes or in your interviews or LinkedIn or whichever place, tell a story that makes you stand out. A strong narrative can be the difference between being just another applicant and a memorable candidate. And I love my LinkedIn. So your personal brand is your journey, not a one-time exercise. Let's continue this conversation. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, share your insights on my wall, message me, put it down on YouTube, and please start building a network that helps you grow. I request you to do this, and I do look forward to seeing your stories unfold. So thank you, ladies, and you can put your questions in the chat window on YouTube, in the comments window, and I'll keep answering. We'll keep answering. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and, pick up the thread there too. So here's to building your personal brand, and all the best for your journey today and for always. Bye-bye.